I haven't slept in the same bed with my spouse for 6 years. This marriage is a dead marriage. What do I need to do? Well, by not sleeping together. Some of you might have even brought kids into the mix. What should I do? I'm not living this marriage. I feel like I'm only living with my enemy when we fight. If you're not fighting, it's like living with my friend. There is no such marriage. We're going to see a marriage therapist before it gets worse, before one side gets into infidelity or anything like that. It's very clear that if there's love in this marriage and one of the parties isn't completely out of their mind, it's practically impossible for me not to save this marriage. It can be resolved very well, and this suffering will come to an end. Why haven't you been together for 6 years? Why aren't you sleeping together? When I get to know both of you, saving this marriage is as simple as bread and cheese for me. Yes, I don't know if I'm married or not. I was cheated on. The other side is very regretful, but we don't know if it's a woman or a man. So it turns out the one who asked is a woman, which means the man is very regretful for cheating. But she's saying, how am I supposed to carry on this relationship? Right. That's what she asked. The reasons for the separation will be thoroughly examined. As I said, I'm a marriage and relationship therapist. Your relationship is getting involved. You'll come for 3 sessions, just like this. First, I'll talk to him. Then I'll talk to you. Then in the 3rd session, I'll have both of you together. Why were you cheated on? Where is this relationship going? Why couldn't you quit together? What happened? How can I list them in order like this? So adjust your questions accordingly. As I said, you will make an appointment at 533-213-6957. That's all there is. Then take my book too, kids. There's also a travel book. We're using the same phone to request the book. Love, Marriage, Life, and Etiquette is the title of my latest book. This will be your go-to book for marriage or relationships throughout your life. There be your action plan. If you get into trouble, will you open up how to argue? It went like this. Let's see what Ms. Selin said. Honestly, after receiving relationship therapy or marriage therapy, you might not even need that book, but it's essential to have it on hand, even before the therapy, so you don't forget it later. So don't rush to break up right away, both in relationships and in marriage. It's really hard to find men these days. It's all left to the women. That's why I'm asking you, when you're thinking about breaking up, whether you're married or in a relationship, come to a marriage and relationship therapist, which is me, or reach out. Let's talk like this and we'll sort it out. I'll let you know if this relationship will work or not. Yes. I can't be a good wife to my current husband because I was in love with someone else, my lover. He was a drug addict. As soon as I realized he was a drug addict, I broke up with him, and without a second thought, I married my current husband. But now, I guess she can't forget the first one. What am I going to do in this marriage? Marriage without love is very difficult. One side loves. If one doesn't love, marriage limps. If both love, it thrives. But if both sides of the marriage go super well, because marriage is a tough job, doing things like that to keep the marriage going is really, I mean it, extremely difficult. But if there is love, there is nothing that can't be resolved. Love solves everything. It resolves misunderstandings. It will find a middle ground. Besides, you couldn't have married a man knowing that he used poison in the past. There's no point in rowing against the current. This man is a good man. That's why I said yes to him. I think you should try to love him. Try to understand him. But know this, if there is no love, I can't plant love in one of their hearts. And if one of the parties is crazy, I don't want to help them as a principle because it's unfair to the other person. What sin does that poor person have? Being with people who are mentally or emotionally challenging and difficult for an entire lifetime is extremely hard, demanding, and emotionally draining kids. It can be exhausting throughout one's entire life. I got married at 15. I don't love my husband. I've been married 23 years. I've put up with everything, but I don't know what to do. It seems like you came to your senses after 23 years. I say shame on your parents who married you off at 15. They married off a child. That kid couldn't even get himself together until he was 25. He didn't understand what was happening. It was childish. It was immature. 23 years have passed. Now, from this point on, I would say don't separate thinking about the kids. But if your parents married you off at 15, it will never help you. They say, leave your kids and come. They say it won't work. I know all of this. I think you should wait until your youngest child is 17 or 18. Let him reach 8 years old. And you should fully develop yourself by that time. Finish elementary school, finish middle school, finish high school. In 2 years, you should also finish something that will bring you benefits, like a profession from outside. After that, even if you don't finish university, at least finish high school. There are a lot of things in English, right, where you are. Tell them there are municipalities. As far as I can tell, there were 350 different things in Istanbul. There are also things like English classes, jewelry making classes, and those kinds of courses. Go to those classes too. Get yourself a gold bracelet. Make sure to save some money so that in the years to come, when you separate, it can at least support you until you find a job. Don't speak badly to your husband and don't threaten him with separation. After doing all of this, for at least 5 years, you either go to the house of your mother, who married you off at 15, and work there on the condition that they take care of your kids, or if your youngest has reached a certain age, to stay at home, then you can find a job and work. When you separate, you should definitely take something substantial from your husband. He has to give money to each of your children. Keep going like this. My child, waiting this long, at 23, 15, you're at that age now. Find a solution as soon as possible, without any further delay. But as I said, prepare the cover before you ring the bell. So make sure you can definitely get a good job, even if it's just as a tea server. There are a lot of banks and schools out there. Even if it's something like cleaning places, I don't know what that job is. But if you graduate from high school, the money you earn will definitely be higher. Look at your own life. Your children married, you're still young. At that age, you can start doing things. Maybe it's your turn for marriage. I'm sorry for you. I'm really sorry. Of course, I'm not even asking if your husband treated you well or not, how it was or what it wasn't. I'm very sorry, but it's never too late for anything. Every day starts anew. Don't forget my words. Oh, I'm late and it's gone. Don't pay attention to these. Every day, every new day is a new beginning. But don't let yourself be beaten down or insulted. As I said, to prevent him from getting in the way, of course, don't hide all those things you want to do, the courses, the exams you'll take from your husband. But I want to improve myself. I feel like I'm missing out on a lot because I got married at 15. I will improve myself. Are you okay, my dear? May God help you. Yes, I've been married for 7 years. I have 2 kids. But I don't feel anything during sex. What should I do? She says. So was it like this from the beginning? How did you get married? Where did you meet? Even if it was an arranged marriage, it seems like you never loved your husband. Or some women are cold when it comes to sex. That could be a reason too. So that coldness might be because you don't like sex. Maybe you've been through some things since you were little. You've seen your parents together. These things can also happen to those who have experienced some kind of trauma. So you might not like having sex because of these things. You don't enjoy it. But you've tolerated your husband for 7 years. Your kids are still small. I definitely recommend to please get my book. It says everything you can do. They're at the number 533-213-6957. I don't know if you want to say this if your husband agrees, but you could go for marriage therapy together. It's 4 sessions, and there you can explore the reasons behind it. I wouldn't say your wife doesn't like having sex with you and doesn't want to do it, but I would ask questions like how you do it as routine inquiries to uncover these things. I advise against doing these things, but I can't do that. I can't plant a heart, love in a heart that doesn't love. She investigates reasons behind it. I will try to help you fix things. If you've chosen a decent man, yes. One more horrifying thing. She was abused by her father at a young age, sexual relationship. Also, he was the poor father of a crazy man. When my husband comes up from behind and hugs me, suddenly those things my Tad did come to my mind. I'm incredibly disgusted. I don't like it at all. What am I going to do? You can tell your spouse this to help your child get through this trombone. Your spouse will help you. Or you can go to a psychiatrist, doctor. You ask, this is how I feel. I don't know what to do from this point on. Maybe she can arrange psychotherapy for you, showing the reasons and the whys. I don't know how you would do it, but one thing is for sure. Someone has gone through one of the most terrible things that can happen to a person. There's no way to say how I will help you get through this trauma. I think it will require a psychiatrist. Right. It's very simple. They wouldn't want to be with you. He tries to separate his room. He tries to separate his bed. When you come to him, he either pushes you away, or even if he doesn't, he finds a way to quickly distance himself from you. He doesn't show you love, affection, closeness. Touching, physical contact is something that doesn't exist for him. Next to you, he either dozes off, watches something, or plays with whatever he has in his hand, you know. He plays with his phone. All of these are indicators. We need to investigate why a man who does these things behaves this way, maybe to someone in your life without you even realizing it. Either he doesn't love you, there might be someone else in his life, but neither of them is a good thing for a marriage. Let's go to marriage therapy together, because I don't see any interesting feelings, love, affection, closeness from you towards me. Stingy, not about affection, not giving. Key, no intimacy. It's not about affection, and he's not giving. The most important indicator is that he doesn't want to be intimate with you. I'm tired of not living. I don't know what this, that shows it all. It's the same for women as it is for men. You can understand it very quickly, but is he doing this because there is someone else in his life? You need to keep an eye on him. Is he texting? Does he come on time? Is he treating you badly? It's for this reason, prioritize seeking marriage therapy. If there's no situation to clear things up from there, then I said I can't plant love. Or if there is love for your husband, I will show him the way. I will find out why he is doing these things. I will make the first attempts to save him. I'll find out why you did these things. I will make the first attempts to save him. But in the end, it's up to both of you to decide whether to continue or to end things. Yes, according to her husband, it doesn't count as betrayal. In the virtual world, he uses every sweet word he can find on any woman he comes across. My dear, my life, my love, how beautiful you are, this, that, who knows what else. That's why the woman says, when I told him this, it doesn't mean that this means betrayal. I love you, but he doesn't explain why he's doing it. Why are you doing this, buddy? I guess he means he feels lost. He's not aware. A person who feels lost does things like this. I've repeated this a lot. One of the first things he did was to go out with other women. If he can't find it outside with her or him, then it's just writing back and forth for both the woman and the man. Well, I don't know. Maybe sleeping too much or trying not to sleep with his wife and so on. I'm very sorry. Give me one. Yes, yes, yes. There are a lot of things here, kids. I died. Turkish E-E-E-N-E-S-E-E-E-N-E. I'm in a garden-like place in Bodrum. So the wind's flying around in the air. Give me a terrible allergy. Thank you. If you allow me, I apologize. What is the reason for very young girls to be interested in much older married men? At first, we see this a lot in women who either love their fathers excessively or have lost their fathers and haven't experienced paternal love and affection. She is not aware that she is in love with this older man instead of his father, and she thinks that she is in a love situation because she is young, which is very wrong. But what should I say to the married man? I couldn't understand that. Thinking about or showing interest in an older married man, distinguishing him from his wife, is something I will never accept. Especially don't do it at a young age, my child. You'll ruin someone else's marriage. It would be a shame for you too. You'll ruin someone else's marriage. It would be a shame for you too. I can't find the words to say to a man who would reciprocate your interest, but there is definitely some kind of disturbance. So I recommend you see a psychologist, or you can come to me. I'll have a couple of sessions with you. I will find the reasons and explanations. Plus, I'll especially give you information about the person you heard this situation from. Yes, my husband doesn't share his problems with me. He hides them. What can I do? So he doesn't find you close, my child. He hasn't accepted you. It should say there is no you or me. There is us. The characteristic marriage is us. Now, if he shared his troubles with you in the past or wanted to talk about his concerns or some work-related issues, and if he received an extreme reaction from you like, oh, what are we going to do? You're going to be unemployed. Or if you gave him unnecessary advice like, if this guy is doing this to you, then you should do that to him. Then that also has an effect. The next time he won't say anything because he might think, see, I told you so. Next time he won't say anything because I told you so. I told you not to do this. Comments like, look, you did this and now you're stuck. The man might prefer to say nothing at all rather than hear these things. This is one. Secondly, he doesn't want to appear helpless, small, or like he hasn't succeeded or achieved anything in life in front of you. That's why he doesn't tell you, or he hasn't accepted you, or if he is very fond of his mother, he deals with the things she will ask or can't handle with her, or he doesn't care about your ideas, or you might use these against him in the future. In any case, this is a bad situation. Husband and wife talk about each other. What are we going to do? If one side listens to the other just to tear their spouse down and guides them on what to do. In fact, I even mention this in my book. I say that when such situations arise, if he shares his troubles with you, even if you give the other person some credit, you need to listen first. After listening, you'll start like this. Honestly, you're absolutely right to react this way. If I were in your situation, I would do the same. But first you said this, and then you said that. You've done it like this. What if they fire you in the future, depending on the situation? You either do it this way, or what if he becomes our enemy? Well, wouldn't it have been better not to do it? What would happen if you just let it go, no matter what he says? Or you're already a really good person. Praising him, this and that. Don't pay attention to what he says. Damn it, we'll find a new job, I'll work too. So on. Did you build these bridges? Next time, I'll tell you about it. But if you're not doing any of these, he won't come to you as long as he's dealing with whatever he's troubled by. Yes, showing too much value and interest can overwhelm a man or a woman. How much should we show Being touched without love is a great agony. You feel nothing and just endure. With mutual love, touching, talking, kissing, staying close, hugging, and being affectionate enriches everyone, even a child, because you don't feel anything and you're just enduring the situation. If there's love and it's mutual, touching each other, talking, giving a kiss when leaving, staying close when coming back, hugging and kissing at every opportunity, being affectionate doesn't spoil anyone, not even a child. The other person is against you if they're hearing the same things or at least enjoying your touch. If there's a physical compatibility, if there's an understanding, that's great. Praise him as much as you want. I was married for a year, and I constantly praised my husband, lifted him up. I wouldn't say much smarter, but much more knowledgeable, much more capable. Yet I always prioritized him. I took it from below. I didn't argue. I didn't let him shout. God forbid I didn't let him raise his hand. Later on, slowly and sweetly, when the time comes, they would say it would have been better if it had been this way instead of that way. This breaks my heart. If you want, we won't do it again. I'm not concerned about who is at fault and who isn't. But if you say constructive things like, we shouldn't let anything get in the way of our beautiful mutual understanding, I think it will go very well. However, when a person holds hands, if there's physical compatibility, they really enjoy it, and warm feelings come to their heart, no matter how many years you've been married. But if there's no love or physical compatibility, even if you just held hands for the first time, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling cold, if you find it rough or sweaty, that means that in the future, when you have any kind of sexual contact with that person, there will be no physical compatibility at all. I'm saying this so that you really pay attention to these very important things and somehow keep yourself truly and indeed away from the person. You won't love. Yes, I don't know who left whom, but my boyfriend's family didn't want me because of how I dress. So we broke up. Did I do the right thing? Did I do something wrong? Will I miss him in the future? I would have responded according to the reasons this incident happened, but I don't have enough information. If you're in front of someone who's dressed revealingly, or if they're covered up, say in a burqa, well, even if you wear a dress, it will still seem inappropriate to them. Well, in such situations, I think you've made this decision in a timely manner, because if a person is not covered and is forced to cover up, that marriage won't work out. It becomes a constant subject of argument. I don't know whether it is generally right or wrong to act on the family's advice, but mostly, if you're a reasonable person, someone from a normal background, let's say you're not extreme in any way, and your family says things like, oh, that person you chose has little money, or they're a Muslim but from a different sect. This doesn't suit us. We're from the East. They're from the West. And if you don't want to hurt them, then choosing to break up means you've taken the easy way out. But if you found everything in each other, everything is going well. But you found everything in each other. Everything is going well? If you broke up because the family didn't want it, I think you're making a mistake. If there were a bit more detail, you would make a choice based on that. You can reach out to me when you have problems. Even if you're alone, you might wonder how I'll find you, where I'll find you, what I'll do, and things like that. You can comfortably come to me. 1 session, 2 sessions. I usually recommend 2 sessions because in 1 session you only get to talk, and just when I'm about to respond, the session ends. That's why I have a lot of these kinds of things for 2 sessions. I broke up and I don't know what to do. I just can't find a partner. Whether it's a man or a woman, they're running away from me. Why am I like this? That's what life coaching is all about. This part falls under what everyone says. They know and that they will help. So a person can ask about these things. Even if they don't have a partner or aren't married, we're doing it quite comfortably. I'm also looking after myself. I do everything my husband wants. But my spouse doesn't fulfill my wishes. About what? In terms of sexuality? Or are you asking about sexuality? That won't work. That's entering into selfishness. Sometimes they don't know, and sometimes they don't research it because it doesn't suit their interests. You will protect your rights. In front of you, there's someone who eats, feels satisfied, sleeps beautifully, or whatever you can't get your hands on. I'm saying all this in a spiritual sense. Have you ever been in front of a man who does everything, feeling hungry for something? Or have you ever stayed awake? This can't go on. Being together is like this. He brings himself. He comes whenever he feels like it. It excites you. But if it doesn't satisfy you in any way, you should gently tell him. Otherwise, you'll get really angry if a man or a woman can't fulfill what they're looking for or what they want for any reason. When they say, my dear, it feels like they're about to burst. In this situation, the other side doesn't even know that it's because of that, and most of the time they don't realize it themselves. What does he do? After that, he becomes angry, jealous, difficult. Everything happens. Be quiet. I'm saying this, especially. You must talk. But why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? What kind of way is this? I just don't want to. I don't like this. My friends are telling me how happy everyone is, but it's not like that. Constructive. You can say something like, my dear, you come beautifully. You get excited, but I'm also getting excited with you. Then you feel satisfied and you pull away. Then I'm left in the middle. Let's not do this. Please, let's have some foreplay first. You bring me together with you. After that, whatever you want. I mean, if these things aren't said, they don't give food to the child who doesn't cry. Don't forget my words. Yes, I'm 21 years old. I made a mistake 2 years ago. Now I'm afraid of getting married because there are a lot of silly things, like it was about being a girl and so on, you know. Wow, how did you do that? Had I done it before? You know, there are about 10 phrases that can be said about this. Because of these words, you repented 2 years ago. You broke up someone. It would have been great if you hadn't done it in your youth, but you did. You know, even the best educated people in Turkey can involuntarily question this when they feel the pressure to get married. I don't think it's right to say it from the beginning, but don't accept it after getting married. I've said this many times before. She might still be preserving her virginity without any bleeding at all. In poor villages or underdeveloped countries, they can do a lot of harm to people who are born this way, if possible. When you're flirting with someone, don't go all the way, just don't do it. What will the guy think? Even someone who has endured this much and didn't want me must have done this before. But what I was trying to say is, I'm not saying anything about making love or kissing, but at least this generation should avoid going all the way. Yes, I'm in love with someone who's married. We love each other a lot, but I don't want to continue this. I just don't know if I really love him or if it's just an addiction. First of all, as a principle, you should never do anything with a married person, no matter what. If a married person truly loves you, if they are really serious about you, and if they are not just using you as a side dish to their home troubles, then they should separate. You're not married anyway. If a married person truly loves you, if they are really serious about you, and if they are not just using you as a side dish to their home troubles, then they should separate. You're married anyway? He will marry you, but for a guy who doesn't do this, even if it's a habit, it can pass in 3 weeks. Come on, just for your sake, in a month. If you say love, if it's a wrong kind of love, then if that guy truly loves you, he should show it by separating and marrying you. But if he doesn't, it means he really doesn't deserve your love. But as a principle, even if you weren't there, I would have separated, because he wanted to break up the marriage. I was never happy, whatever it was. It doesn't concern me. I don't want to take on your sins. I don't want to take on your wife's sins. Do whatever you want. But if when you're free, you still want to marry me instead of someone else, and it could happen. Then you'll understand whether I love you or not. You're making a mistake. Be quiet around married people. No, absolutely. What? Yes, my dear. I have been married for 13 years. I see that my husband cannot forget his ex-girlfriend. That is, the girlfriend from 13 years ago. I can't deal with this. What are you going to do? I find it hard to understand what kind of thing this is. A person who has not married someone else, has been in a relationship, broken up, and then entered a new marriage, whether it's a woman or a man. And now, reminiscing about the past. Oh, I loved him like this. Oh, I loved her like that. Oh, I wish I had married him, her. The past is gone. If that girl hasn't married, it's already been 13 years since then. The young man you saw 13 years ago might not be the same person anymore. You either shouldn't have married when you were in love, or you shouldn't break the marriage over this. But if your husband is still pursuing her, especially if he's trying to contact her and meet with her, it means there's a serious issue here. Don't even think about separating without trying a marriage therapist. Come to me, I'll handle it. Yes, my mother-in-law wants to spend time with us every day. What should I do? You need to find a job for your mother-in-law. Either you will find her a job, or you will make sure she stays busy with something, or I don't know. Maybe you will have her take care of your kids, or you will find her new friends. This can be a mother-in-law, or it can be a mother. For example, I did that with my mom. It felt like she was talking about my mom. She was my biological mother. My mom came to Istanbul after my dad passed away. She came to me from Adana, where she lived for many long years. After she came, she wants to go everywhere with me. I have my own friend groups, this and that. In my opinion, my mother is young, very civilized, very pretty, and very stylish. It's not like she's narrow-minded or anything. I mean, she's 20 years older than my friends. That's just how it is. A proper woman. My friend said after a while, well, let's all bring our moms then. Exactly. Let's bring our moms like this. Let's do it this way. She said, that can't be. Now I'm thinking how selfish those women were. If it were me, I would leave them, go out with my mom. I took them on such beautiful outings. I took my mom and my mother-in-law to eat. I took her to the most stylish places for tea. I don't know, I've done everything. I continued with them, but without taking my mom. Then I said to this poor woman, you stay at home, go out with my friends. Moreover, they were people. She enjoyed a lot as well. I found all of my mom's old friends from Adana or from Ankara, where they used to live. Most of them were already in Istanbul. So what did we do when we were in Istanbul? I invited all of them to my house. Those who came, came, and I was there for those who didn't. We set up something nice like this. I said, my mom is sitting right here. I don't know where you all are. But come on, meet once a week. Either go somewhere, or gather at home. Let's put this in order, and so on. I organized that group in every way I could. After that, my mom was happy, and I was happy too. I had a driver. If it weren't for that, I would have taken her. I took my mom everywhere. Unfortunately, that poor woman also suffered from Alzheimer's. The last years of her life, I helped her a lot until she got Alzheimer's. I didn't leave her side, even after she got Alzheimer's, but unfortunately, we had gone to America and such, and I didn't even know she had Alzheimer's at that time. If I could, I would help her just like I do. Yes, my dear, that's how you're going to do it. I can't find any other solution. So organize something for the poor woman with her own friends. Take her to a couple of places, but it might be a bit difficult if she doesn't come to you every day. So at some point, you become like his nanny or something. It's not working. Get help in a way that gracefully doesn't upset or anger him. Yes, I got married, I got divorced. Everyone I meet tries to get me into bed. I don't know what to do. Show me a way. Unfortunately, they automatically see a widow as a woman to sleep with, as a principle. If you ask me, it's the biggest shame in the world. So you shouldn't think like that. She's an unfortunate woman. divorced for one reason or another. Unless we're thinking about something serious with him, shouldn't disturb him like this. There's nothing to be done, my child. The only person these men are interested in is someone who's been married and divorced. What you need to do is to maintain your dignity. You'll have a friendship without crossing into sexuality when he comes there. If you don't want it, you should say no. But if someone comes along that I think will progress with you, I'll behave. However you want me to. Yes, my husband has become more perverted as he gets older. If a husband and wife are doing it together, it's normal. My advice is to do it together while looking at each other. But some things can be done, and some shouldn't. And my advice is do it together while looking at each other, but there are things that can be done and things that shouldn't be done. If you don't want to, don't do oral sex because you might find it disgusting. You might not want it. Do whatever you want. But for anal sex, absolutely not. You shouldn't even accept it. I can go to someone else too. Say no. No, no, it's not happening. After that, there's no such thing as a normal relationship, like we're doing some kind of threesome, and we don't know where we are or what we're doing. Well, I'm getting bored. If you're getting bored, it means your love for me has decreased. A person eats chocolate every day or every 3 days because they love chocolate. But no, little chocolate, a little filling, a little of this, a little of that. No, darling. Then your marriage, it's a checkup. Why don't they want the same things? Why do you think it's perverted? I don't know. One way or another, why do they want these things? I would like to research these. I also recommend that you get a checkup, along with marriage therapy. Yes, I got divorced. There's someone I've loved for 3 years. I love him a lot, but I'm afraid of marriage. What can we do? Just because your first marriage went badly doesn't mean the second one will too. You need to investigate the reasons for the breakup. If there are things coming from you, read my book. When you read it, think about what's written in this book in relation to yourself. This is how men are managed. This is how you handle men. Wait, let me do that too. If you can do it, that's great. But if you're yelling, calling out, getting angry with every man that comes along, I don't know. If your reason for breaking up is your neglect, your this, your that, then there's nothing to be done. You might certainly be fearful of marriage, of course, but if that guy is a quince and your first husband is a pear, as long as you're an apple, you can get along just fine with someone who loves apples. So, don't be afraid of marriage. If there's a man whom you truly love deeply, I think it's worth giving it an earnest try indeed. Yes, I'd like to ask for your permission here. If you're going to enter my channel for the very first time ever on YouTube, you will write The Art of Marriage with Selin Karakan. And it hasn't even been 4 months. Let's get started. Please don't compliment them. As many people used me before you get my books. For my books, 0533-23. You can request it from 0533-213-6957. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, if you want to make an appointment, my friends, at 533-213-6957 will help you. Appointments, etc., will be done. When you make an appointment this way, we will talk to each other. For marriages, there are 4 sessions, and for couples or fiancés, there are 3 sessions. If individuals have their own troubles, whether they can't get married or if they've divorced after getting married, and if there are some psychological issues related to that, I'm really good at dealing with those matters. There's 1, maybe 2